The Hunter by Trouble Studios. Right up here you can see it's abbreviated to look like, well, not abbreviated, but made to look like Marvel Comics Group, Trouble Comics Group, but it's published by an indie publisher called Trouble Comics. But everything is done by, the creator is Dakota Alexander. He wrote it, drew it, inked it, colored it. I think he even lettered it. This is a great, really great comic as far as crowdfunded comics go. This one's right in my wheelhouse. It's made to feel like it's from 1981 Marvel Comics, and it very much succeeds in that department. It really feels like it, and I'll show you why as we go through it. But first, it's Happy New Year's, everyone. I got a little champagne here. Dry. But Dakota Dakota Alexander, who, this is his comic basically. He did everything, I think, except he did hire an editor who is Judah Rad. He, I believe, runs Trouble Studios. I think he also has a crowdfunded comic. What's it? I can't remember. We'll see the name later on as we go through this, I think. But Dakota Alexander, I discovered him following a page on Facebook, a page called Marvel Comics 1961 through 1989. And he's an admin on there, and he's always posting his art. And what he does is he draws comics, recreations of or imaginary comic covers, splash pages, stuff like that. Like this is an homage to Wolverine #1, the ongoing series from 1988. This is basically, if you put Wolverine #1 right next to this, that you can see where this came from. And that's what he does a lot on his Facebook page. Like I said, it's called Marvel Comics 1961 to 1989. That's a page I follow because that's right up my alley. That's my favorite stuff. And I discovered him on there, and just really loved his work. And then shortly after I started following that page, he announced that he was going to do a crowdfunded comic, and it was this, The Hunter. And since I loved his stuff so much, and he was like really approachable, you could, comment on one of his pictures, one of his drawings, some of his artwork that you could comment on, and he'd reply to you. So he was really approachable, really nice, and it just hits this tone perfectly, this early 80s Marvel Comics tone real perfectly. This just arrived a couple days ago. I forget when it was that the campaign started, but it's been, I don't know, it probably took since at least this summer, I would say. So about, I don't know, 6 months ish for signing for the campaign launch to receiving the comic, which is part of the crowdfunding deal with comic books and probably a lot of other stuff as well. But sometimes it's really worth the wait, and this is one time where I would say it was worth the wait. He made basically a homage to an early 80s Marvel comic cover. Just kind of changes things. Trouble Studios, Trouble Comics Group. Here's like, instead of a barcode, there's the direct market like picture instead of a barcode. And this is what's really cool. Look at this. He recreates these old ads that were actually in the comics back then, and he just changes them, tweaks them a little bit. Like this is an Olympic ad, but he changed it to Trouble. And there's just little things here and there that he does in there. You could read it and it'll read just like the original, but here and there there'll be little like tweaks, just little jokes made. It's kind of fun to look through and find them. But here's the first page. Like, it makes me think of mostly his art style. Like, throughout this book, his art style doesn't stay real consistent. It kind of bounces around. Like, he's it seems like he's trying to go for the style of certain artists that worked at Marvel in the early 80s. And I'll try and point them out as I go. But this splash page, or it's not a splash page, this opening page is kind of John Romita Sr. I'm talking about, I guess, and a little bit of Mike Zeck. And you'll hear me say Mike Zeck a lot going through this, because I think Mike Zeck is who he most closely resembles. But this looks like a Mike Zeck page. If you think back to when Mike Zeck was on Captain America in the early 80s, and there was a couple of issues where Cap fought vermin down in the sewers. And this makes me think of that. Or even Mike Zeck's work on the Kraven the Hunter story arc with J.M.D. Mateus. Like, some of his work, because Vermin was in that as well. But that's what this page really makes me think of. And this page as well. This is our hero, the Hunter. And he basically fights cryptids. And in this first issue, he fights the Rougarou. Look, I mean, can you see this paper? Can you see how, like, it looks browned or yellowed? But it's not. It's just, it's on newsprint, and it's kind of faded a little too dark, I think. Like, I get what he was going for with this, the faded comic, but usually it's not faded. Like, this is almost like a black, faded from gray heading to black instead of white, where most comics kind of go yellow, and the panels, the color of the panels stays a little brighter than this, I think. But I mean, it looks cool. He really, like, nailed this. Like, this feels like you're reading an old comic that's been in your collection for 40-50 years, and it's been in a bag and board. It's stayed in pretty good shape, and you pull it out and you read it, and this really captures the look and the feel between the paper that, like I said, it's newsprint, and the purposely, like, faded page with age, you know, the aging of the page. Here he's got this drawing of this policeman, and this looks like John Byrne to me, like John Byrne and Joe Rubinstein's run on Captain America with Roger Stern writing. This smacks of a John Byrne drawing from back then, I think. So his art style is a little, it bounces around a good bit. Now we're back to Mike Zeck. Like, that looks like a Mike Zeck face. That looks like Mike Zeck. That one, not so much, but basically, yeah, Mike Zeck. Now, in here is another one of the mock ads. So Fun Factory. I forget what it originally said up there. Maybe, did it say anything? I can't remember. Maybe it just said Fun Factory, but you can see they put Trouble above it. So you go through here and you can find some interesting tweaks. I mean, this is basically copying the original, but this has got some tweaks in it that are fun. Oh, and here, this ad, I'm glad he chose this one to include, because this was a good one in the early 80s, and an ad, full page ad in your comic. This was a fun one. The artwork was cool, concept was cool, the game that it advertised was intriguing. I forget what it was. It was some kind of, like, top secret military base unleashed some sort of biological warfare weapon, and everybody turned into zombies, and like, you have to fight your way through this underground lab, fight your way through the zombies to, I don't know, survive. But yeah, this was a good choice to include, and he changes it. Like, the clerk now looks like Weird Al Yankovic. So it's really cool what they did. Here's just a scene of our hero leaping from building to building, rooftop to rooftop in New York City, going back home to his apartment, just like Spider-Man. And in a page or two, well, probably a few more than that, you're going to see a big nod to Spider-Man, and it's cool. It just makes me think there's got to be a lot of Easter eggs in here that I didn't even pick up on, but I picked up on a lot of them, and they're cool. Like this is the hero's like civilian identity. Looks just like David Soul from the 1970s, Starsky and Hutch. Looks just like David Soul. But this is like an ancient god called Hearn, the god of the hunt. And he merges with our hero, Stephen Conrad. They merge together and become the hunter. And they fight like cryptids. But here's a little conversation between them after he's gotten home, back to his New York apartment. Then he goes to sleep and he dreams about his origin. So that's cool to have. This is just like a vague, just kind of like the main parts of the origin told here. I'm sure if this comic keeps going, he'll probably, Dakota Alexander will probably do more, behind the scenes of the origin of the hunter than just this page. But it's cool. It's good enough to get the point across. And then the hunters, or Stephen Conrad, after he's been asleep, he's awoken by his brother. His brother's gay. Got a boyfriend. He's awoken from his sleep by his brother, who saw the newscast of the hunter fighting the werewolf in New York City, in the park. What the heck's the park in New York City? Central Park. So he knows that he's the hunter. He knows that that's what his brother's talking about. So he's got to lie because he's got a secret identity. Here's the coin that gives him his power, that connects him to Hearn. Here we have our detectives. They're questioning the police officer who was not really attacked, but subdued by the hunter in the beginning. The one that I said looked like John Byrne. But see, here his art style is kind of different again. Now it looks kind of like, to me, like Jackson Geiss, maybe? Is that how you say his name? Jackson Geiss? That's the only, like, his art style kind of changed for the detective characters. And to me, it looks like the only thing I can think of is Jackson Geiss. Does anybody see something else? But then we're back to the hunter, and he's out on the prowl looking for the Rougarou. And he's basically, he did a cool thing here where since the hunter is Hearn, the god of the hunt, combined with Stephen Conrad, just normal everyday guy, this is a symbiosis of the two psyches. So when it's a normal thought balloon like this, it's Stephen Conrad thinking. And then when it's a thought balloon like this with the cloudy outline, then it's Hearn, and they're having conversations with each other about cryptids and how to dispose of them properly. Now here, this is really cool. Look at the coloring. It's got kind of a neon to it. It's really cool. Like, he did a great job with the art. He really did. We're kind of back to Mike Zeck vibe here. But here's one little Easter egg. Can you see that? It says Byrne, as in John Byrne. There's number one. There's probably more here. Oh yeah, right here, like here. See that? Focus. It says Andrew, developing company, but Andrew, like Ross Andrew, who drew Amazing Spider-Man forever back in these days, in the late 70s. Like in my right now, I'm reading Amazing Spider-Man in my the series that I do on this channel, where I'm reading my Marvel Comics in publishing date order. Right now I just started in 1977, and I have Amazing Spider-Man in my collection, and it's drawn by Ross Andru at this time. So I'm sure that Ross Andru must have been a big influence on Dakota Alexander. And it's just kind of funny because I think in just my last video that I made about the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man in that series, I was praising Ross Andru's artwork up and down, because I really think he drew an amazing, good, great, top of the line Spider-Man. But anyway, back to this story. Now we get to see a lot more of the Hunter's powers. He's able to make these vines out of oak. He just makes them materialize through his god powers, and he uses them kind of like Spider-Man uses his webs, and he grabs the Rougarou and pulls them to him, and then he grows claws. Like claws grow out of his fingertips, and he uses it to attack the Rougarou, and then they have a heck of a fight. And he did this really well too. He choreographed this fight very nicely. Here we go. This is kind of cool. This is the only thing that's like not a copy of an ad from an old comic. This one is original, and this is kind of neat. It's Name Hunt. So a very special thank you to all who backed the God, Ragnarok, and Valhalla tiers. Please find your name in this special puzzle. Enjoy and happy hunting. So the crowdfunders who, paid a lot of money for the higher tiers to get this book and whatever else, like their names are in here as a word search. It's pretty cool. And then he gives a special thanks to a bunch of other people here too as well. My name's not in there. I guess I didn't quite meet the quota to get thanked in print, but yeah, now this really feels like Mike Zeck again, especially like I said, that those Captain America issues with Vermin and down in the sewer, and Vermin's down in the sewer. Like this is straight up Mike Zeck right here. This bit, like that just smacks of him doing Vermin down in the sewers in either Captain America or the Kraven the Hunter series in Spider-Man. But then they have a fight down in the sewers, and here we go. Like that's a great drawing right there. Kind of Wolverine. And then it's just this whole page, 10 panels, a big brutal fight between the two. It's really good. Well done. Very well done. Oh, and then they have their bullpen bulletins where this is the writer artist, and this is the editor. And they both get to write in here, and then there's a fake checklist. And this is a good one. Like these are all very like picking on Marvel titles at the time. Like instead of Dazzler, they have Drizzler. Tarzar, Jungle White Guy, number 12. It's funny. And then they have one of these Hostess Twinkies ads. They faked one of these, and they're called Troubles. Instead of Twinkies, they're called Troubles. So there's a magic ritual that the hunter performs to steal like the Ka, it's called. The Ka from the Rougarou. Basically his life force, I guess is what that is. And when he does it, he kills the Rougarou and he kills the host body. He finds out it's a woman. And pow. Now there's the Ka. So he's able to, I don't know, keep that for himself or something. But there's a smoking ruin from the Rougarou he just destroyed, obliterated. And oh man, I can't get a hold of this. This newsprint's really dry, and it's winter here, and my skin's super dry, so these pages are hard to get a hold of. But this is our cliffhanger. We're left on a cliffhanger. There's 4 Rougarou, and he's got to fight them. Kind of looks like is this? I wonder. An early John Byrne X-Men comic has Wolverine in the sewers under the Hellfire Club, and I can't remember if this is kind of an homage to an image from that comic. There's two comics, two X-Men comics where that takes place. I can't remember if this is something that was in there and he was doing homage, or else this is just kind of inspired by that, maybe. But that's what it gives me the vibes of. John Byrne drawing Wolverine in the sewers under the Hellfire Club. Well, then they have their, like, you know, they made up an editor's column here, and they talk about how the comic came about. And then they have some, I don't know if these are real letters or made up letters, because they seem really silly. So this one very well might be made up. This one might be an actual, like, friend of theirs who they gave an early copy of the comic to or something. But yeah, then, oh, here we go. 132 Roman soldiers from Trouble Products Incorporated. So it looks just like the original. The artwork's exactly the same, but they just changed things here and there. It's kind of funny. And then there's this one. This one is great. Advanced Myths and Monsters, Procrastivision, Trouble Electronics. That's a great one. And the back one, Weenie Time instead of Burger Time, or Wiener Time instead of Burger Time. This is so cool. Really well done. Really well done. I gotta cheers. Well done. Now let me show everyone how they mailed it. This sent it in a Gemini mailer. They have this tape to seal it shut with. In their own company, their own publishing company. Yeah, it was just a regular old Gemini mailer, but I like that they have tape with their logo on it. But here's some of the cool stuff. I didn't just get the comic. I got cover B as well. So this is cover B. Let's see if I can put these both up here. Cover B and cover A. Do not fall over. You hear me? You're gonna do it, aren't you? You're gonna do it. Stay. So, cover A, cover B. Also, bookmark. Pretty standard in any crowdfunded comic. You always get a bookmark. That's like the earliest tchotchke tier level of how much they earn. You get a bookmark almost every time. Nice. I think, is this a sticker? I think it is. Drums of the Serpent. I believe that's Dakota Alexander's the name of his business, maybe. I'm not sure, but that's a cool sticker and a cool retro card. And as you can see, they did the same thing with the card that they did with the comic. They fake yellowed it to make it look worn. See, there's got a crease right there that's not really a crease. I don't know if you can see that. And it's yellowed around the edges and kind of worn a little bit. So that was really cool as well. So, and it came in this nice BCW archival bag and board. Oh, and one more thing. There's the coin that turns our hero into the hunter. It's got his logo on this side. Pretty cool stuff. I cannot recommend this enough. See if you can find Dakota Alexander on Facebook. And like I said, Trouble Studios. They have an Instagram page, a Facebook page, and a Threads page. I don't know if they're still, like, if you can still buy these through the I think it was Kickstarter. I don't know if you can still buy these through that or not, but I mean, I'm sure if you contacted them, they'd get back to you and let you know. But yeah, it was very good. I'm definitely, as soon as day one, if they do a number 2 or something else in the Hunter universe, day one, I'll probably be backing it, because this is really well done. Really well done. Cheers and Happy New Year from Old Nerd.